بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Hello and peace be with you. Today I want to talk about Jizya. Jizya is tax that non-Muslims have to pay that are living in Muslim countries. Muslims don't have to pay Jizya, only non-Muslims have to pay Jizya. So the critics of Islam say that this is unjust and this is like treating non-Muslims as second-class community. Because non-Muslims have to pay Jizya and Muslims don't have to pay Jizya, which is tax. Well, it's true that non-Muslims have to pay Jizya and Muslims don't, because on the other hand Muslims have to pay Zakat. Non-Muslims don't have to pay Zakat, they just have to pay Jizya. Muslims don't have to pay Jizya, they just have to pay Zakat. It's not unjust. It's just that the critics of Islam just tell half of the story, which makes it sound like, that non-Muslims have to pay all the tax and Muslims don't have to pay anything at all, which is not the case. In fact, Zakat is paying more money than Jizya. Which means Muslims pay more tax than the non-Muslims. It's easier for non-Muslims because they pay less tax than the Muslims. Jizya is paying less tax than Zakat. If a non-Muslim and I go to Saudi Arabia and he pays Jizya and I pay Zakat, I'll be paying more money than him. Islam could easily say that okay, non-Muslims also have to pay Zakat, but Islam didn't, because Zakat is one of the pillars of Islam. Like another pillar of Islam is performing Hajj, and a non-Muslim does not have to perform Hajj. Even if a Muslim tells him to perform Hajj, he does not have to, because he does not believe in this religion. So why does he have to follow the pillars of this religion when he doesn't even believe in this religion? Another pillar of Islam is praying 5 times a day. So why does a non-Muslim have to pray to my God? He does not even believe in my God. So therefore, similarly, another pillar of Islam is Zakat. So we can't tell a non-Muslim to pay Zakat, and he does not have to pay Zakat. But since the non-Muslims are living in our countries, receiving all the services of the state, so they have to pay something. They can't be just paying nothing. So for them, we use a different term, which is Jizya. At the time of Umar, the second caliph, there were some Jews who said that we don't like this term Jizya, we just pay Zakat just like everybody else, which was fine. They kept paying Zakat, but that's optional, it's up to them. But it's not unjust in any way. And some people think that this is like punishment for the non-Muslims. The word that is used is anyadin. The word anyadin also means ability, which means that if the non-Muslims have the ability, then they can pay. If they do not have ability, if they don't have money, then they don't have to pay. Nobody's going to force them to pay. Nobody forces them to pay. If they have money, then they can pay. If they don't have money, nobody's going to send them to prison or take their house or something like this. If they don't have money, then if they're poor, then they don't have to pay Jizya. In chapter 9 verse 29, it says that if you read the translation, or the critics of Islam will tell you that it says that you have to humiliate the non-Muslims by taking this tax from them, by taking Jizya from them. The word that is used there can be translated in many ways. One of the ways is accepting the authority. Just like accepting the authority, it applies also on Muslims, that Muslims also have to accept the authority of the Muslim government. When we say accepting the authority, which means that means they have to obey the laws of the Muslim country, and they have to pay tax just like everybody else. Yeah, just like for example, I'm living in England, and I'm a Muslim, but I don't intend to commit any crimes, and I don't commit any crimes, because the British government does not want me to commit any crimes. So therefore, it's like I'm accepting the authority of the British government. But this does not mean that British government is humiliating me, or I'm being humiliated just for obeying the laws of the British government. But still, if some non-Muslim critic of Islam insists that no, it does mean humiliated, then that means that Muslims have to be humiliated more than non-Muslims, because Muslims have to pay more tax than non-Muslims. So of course it does not mean humiliating them, because if that is the case, then Muslims are being humiliated more than non-Muslims, because they pay more tax than the non-Muslims. Well, some non-Muslims say that this is like bribing, that if the non-Muslims accept Islam, then they don't have to pay tax. If they don't accept Islam, then they have to pay the tax, Jizya. How can it be bribing when the non-Muslims have to pay less money than the Muslims? Muslims have to pay more money. If a non-Muslim who is living in a Muslim country becomes a Muslim, then he has to start paying more money. So how can it be bribing? And it's not just zakat that Muslims have to pay. We have to pay sadaqah as well. There are two kinds of sadaqah. One is just optional. If you want to pay sadaqah, then you can. If you don't want to, then you don't have to. There's another sadaqah which becomes compulsory if needed. Suppose an earthquake strikes Pakistan, then it will become compulsory on the Muslims that they give sadaqah, because people over there need that. But this does not apply on the non-Muslims. Non-Muslims do not have to pay any kind of sadaqah. It's just for Muslims. So Muslims have to pay two kinds of taxes, whereas non-Muslims have to pay less tax and only one kind of tax. Yeah, so neither it is unjust, nor we are trying to oppress the non-Muslims who are living in Muslim countries. This is just unjust. The critics of Islam tell half of the story, and they don't tell the rest of the story. So therefore, that's how they make people, fools. And Jizya is not for all the non-Muslims. Non-Muslim children do not have to pay Jizya. Non-Muslim women do not have to pay Jizya, and non-Muslim men do not have to pay Jizya. It's only for non-Muslim, all people do not have to pay Jizya. Okay, it's only for men, the adult men who are working. It's only for them. It's not for women, children, and old people. It's not for them. It's only for adult men. Yeah, and even if there's a non-Muslim family that is poor, then they don't have to pay Jizya, and nobody's gonna send them to prison or take their house or force them to pay. If they don't have money, then they don't have to pay this tax. Yeah, so it's not unjust. It's easier for non-Muslims. Non-Muslims have to pay less tax than the Muslims. It's just another misconception. Yeah, so take care, and peace be with you.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم